Hey everybody, it's Diane Gale here from the blog and YouTube channel Sustainable Slow Living, and today you and I are going to make a sweet potato cake. I was looking for a dessert with eye appeal for the fall to put up on the blog, and sweet potato cake is perfect for that. I have never made one before. I looked at a bunch of recipes online, and they had an exorbitant amount of oil in them and sugar as well. So I have created my own version, as I always do. There is not as much oil or sugar in my version, and hopefully that's going to work out for us because I sure would love a delicious slice of sweet potato cake. I'm not as much of an experienced baker as I am a cook, so I'm not certain that it is going to work out. But there is one thing that I do know for sure, and that is anytime that I have ever made a dessert with sweet potatoes in it, it is fantastic. Sweet potatoes are really conducive to desserts. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our wet ingredients for the cake. Believe it or not, in baking, sugar is considered a wet ingredient. So I have this, I put it in a large mixing bowl because when we do our dry ingredients, they'll be going in on top of this. So I wanted to have a lot of room. I have 1.5 cups of sugar in here, and I am going to add a full cup of oil. The recipe's all called for canola oil. I don't really like canola oil. I'm honestly just using vegetable oil right now. I don't really like that either. But a cup was an extraordinary amount. All of my stuff is packed, so I don't have any oil out except for the vegetable oil because I was going to be frying some things for the blog. So that's what we're going with. It really doesn't matter what kind of oil you put in here. I mean, some oils are going to have flavor, right? Like a really extra virgin olive oil or an avocado oil. I really think that even that's going to be just fine. And then I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and I'm going to put 3 eggs, and then I am going to cream them together with the blender. So they're all creamed together, and if nothing else, that does really look very rich. It's going to make a great cake. The next thing we're going to do is our dry ingredients. So I have 2 cups of organic all-purpose white flour. I have 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I use real salt when I can, and right now I can. So that's what I've got in there. And then I'm just going to whisk this together. We're going to take the dry ingredients and pour them into the wet. And we'll take a spatula and we'll fold it all in. So we've got the consistency of cake batter. That's probably good, right? And then we are going to put 3 cups of shredded sweet potatoes in this as well. Obviously they were peeled and then shredded, and we will fold those in with the spatula. This looks great, you guys. I think I did really good messing around with the ingredients as far as the ratios of wet and dry were concerned. It looks good. So I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I've already done that. And I have 2 greased 8-inch cake pans. I'm going to put 1/2 of the batter in each of the pans, tap them down on the table, put them in the oven, and see how long they take to bake. The icing that goes on this cake is a basic cream cheese frosting. So I have 1/2 cup of butter softened and an 8-ounce package of cream cheese softened. I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla in there. And then I'm going to put 2 cups of confectionery sugar in there. I'm going to beat this up with the electric mixer until it is nice and creamy and ready to go on the cake. These cakes baked really quick, like 15-20 minutes, and a toothpick inserted in the middle came out clean. I have this one on a plate already to be frosted. I'm hoping I don't have trouble getting this one out of the pan. Definitely grease your pan well. I did have a little trouble getting this one out, but it came out, and I think part of it might be that I have an old pan. Anyway, I'm not sure about how much frosting I have here either. And it's been sitting, so I'm trying to move it around a little so it's not stiff. All of my utensils are packed, so this is like the worst utensil that you could use to frost this cake. I'm not even going to try that. I'm going to try with a butter knife. If you are out shopping one day and you think to pick up an icing spreader is something that is very, very useful. And yeah, I wish I had mine out right now, but I don't. This butter knife is going to work though. So I'm going to put this all the way to the edge. I'm hoping it's going to show a little bit when I put the other cake on top. And now that I'm spreading this, I'm pretty sure that I definitely do have enough icing. So that's good. So I'm going to be a little more generous with this than I was being. Alright, so we have a nice generous portion in the middle, and I put kind of gloppy, kind of more along the edges. Okay, so there we go. Here we go, you guys. We definitely had enough icing. I've almost got this on here. I'm trying to get some along the edges here, just because I think it looks better. And there she is. She's really kind of beautiful. Now we're going to put some chopped walnuts on top. I do think that I have way too many here. That's like between 1/4 and 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts on top. And this is it. This is our sweet potato cake. I think it looks great. I can't wait to cut in and get a slice. We can try it together and see how it all worked out with me taking some of that oil and some of that sugar out of there. I think it's going to be delicious. It smelled divine when it was in the oven. So I cut into this so that I could get some pictures. It doesn't do very well with pictures. But anyway, it's moist. It looks amazing. Very much like carrot cake, which is not surprising because the shredded sweet potatoes would look very much like carrots. Oh, I want a piece of the top where there's nuts. All right, are we ready for the moment of truth? Is it any good? I'm going to have to say it's fabulous. And I am not at all sure why you would want twice the oil, and I don't even know how much more sugar in it. It's perfect just the way that it is. So make yourself one this fall. It's sure to become one of your favorites. It really is very good. I'm glad that you joined me here today, and we're going to get together again really soon.